What is a 401k and how does it work? Stick around and let's find out. Hi everyone, welcome to Dollar for Dollar. My name is Heather. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you can learn more about personal finances as I teach you how to become financially independent and find financial freedom. So today, 401ks. What does that mean and what are the options out there? What is a 401k and what does that mean for you? Simply put, a 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement account. Okay, so essentially what it means is they are putting the responsibility of retirement savings on you as the employee. They are trying to incentivize you to make contributions. And normally that means they're going to give you something in return, especially if you work for a larger corporation. Pensions used to be really popular back in the day, but more and more companies and agencies are getting away from pensions and moving towards a 401k platform. So there are two types of 401ks. You have a Roth 401k and a traditional 401k. So in a Roth 401k, all of your contributions are made after taxes have already been taken out. So in your paycheck, you might see a couple of line items for different taxes, whether it's state or federal. All of that's already taken out, and then you put money into this account. Okay, that's really important for a couple of reasons, and we'll get into that. In a traditional 401k, you are actually making contributions with pre-tax dollars. So what that does for you is it actually lowers your taxable income for the year. So let's say you're at a $50,000 taxable income, but you're also making contributions to a 401k, a traditional 401k. Now, if you end up putting away, let's say $6,000 in the year, your taxable income for the year actually lowers down to $44,000. So that's the number the IRS is going to use when they're looking at your taxes for the year. Now, this is important for a number of reasons, which brings me to number 2. So in a Roth 401k, the money that you withdraw is taken out tax-free. That's right. The money that you take out, you do not pay taxes on when you are in retirement. That's in a Roth 401k only. In a traditional 401k, because you made contributions before you paid taxes on it, you're going to pay taxes now that you're withdrawing the money. So you're paying taxes after the fact, when you are taking the money out during retirement. So this is extremely important. With a Roth, you are making contributions after you've already been taxed. But when you take the money out, you are not getting taxed on it. It is not taxable income. With a traditional 401k, you are making contributions before you pay taxes. However, when you pull the money out, you will be taxed on all of the money you are removing from that account. Now, in both a Roth and a traditional 401k, because it's employer sponsored, more often than not, the employer is going to offer you some sort of incentive for participating. So let's say you work for a really large corporation and they say we're going to match dollar for dollar anything that you contribute up to, let's say $6,000. So if you give $6,000 towards your retirement account in that year, you're going to earn an additional $6,000 essentially for free. And I say free because it's really being paid for by the company, not by you. So it's not free for everybody. With that being said, you're going to essentially earn $12,000 that year that goes into this account that can then earn interest and grow so that by the time you pull it out, there's more than $12,000 there, right? That's the goal. So what's really important to note is that because these are employer-sponsored accounts, there's usually a set amount, a set number of options that you can choose from within the accounts themselves. So a couple of stocks and bonds, so to speak, in the portfolio. So you might have a company, for example, that says, okay, we're going to work with ABC agency, and in the agency they offer you maybe 7 different stock and bond options and then maybe a couple of target date funds that you can choose from. So you can choose where that money is going, and you can also usually choose how much of a percentage is going into each. So you might be able to diversify into a couple of those buckets and say, I want my money split out 4 ways between these 4 portfolios, and you can do that. So remember, you're going to be a little more limited when it comes to 401k options because it's usually some sort of agreement that your employer has with a third-party agency, and they offer a set number of accounts for you to choose from, really. With a Roth and a traditional 401k, as of 2020, with the passing of the CARES Act, the minimum required distribution age is now 72 years. It used to be that you had to be 70 and a half and you had to start taking out money from your 401k, but now they've actually increased the age, so now it's 72. So at 72, you have to start taking money out of your account. It's called the minimum required distribution. However, there is one exception. If you are still working for that company that has your 401k, so let's say you work for a very large company, maybe AT&T, and you're still employed by them and they have your 401k, you don't have to take a distribution as long as you are still employed, again, after the age of 72. So say you're a 74-year-old and you're still working and kicking, good for you. You don't have to take the minimum required distribution until you retire. So the next one, in both cases, you have to be 59 and a half in order to not get penalized by the IRS for taking out money. They consider this a early withdrawal. So if you take out money before 59 and a half, you are automatically going to be penalized a fee, and that fee is 10%. And because you are taking out this money early, because it's an early withdrawal, they are then going to tax the money, and generally they're going to tax you at 20%. So let's say you're going to take out $10,000 for easy numbers. $10,000. Well, you're automatically going to get penalized 10% because, again, you're taking it out before 59 and a half. So that's $1,000 right there. So now you're down to $9,000. But they're also going to tax that $10,000 at 20%, and they're going to hold that because they're calling this income at that point. So that's another $2,000. So really you can see that $10,000 very quickly turned into $7,000. So you will get penalized if you take out this money early. In a Roth and a traditional 401k, they both have the exact same cap. So in 2020, the maximum contribution you can make in a single year is $19,500. However, there is one exception to that. If you are 50 years or older, the maximum contribution is $26,000. And they consider this to be kind of like a catch-up because you're getting closer to retirement, so you probably want to put more away towards your retirement account so that you can catch up and get to a comfortable spot for when that day comes. What's also important to note is that regardless if your employer is matching any money, whether you have a Roth or a traditional, they're always going to put any money that they are matching, any percentage that the employer is contributing, into a traditional 401k. So your employer may offer a Roth 401k, and that may be where you're putting your money. But let's say they're offering you a 5% match. That 5% is actually not going into your Roth 401k. It's actually going into a traditional 401k because they are not paying the taxes up front. So that money that they are putting away will actually be taxed later on when you go to withdraw from it. So keep that in mind. Just because you have a Roth 401k does not mean that your employer is contributing money that is already taxed. It's actually going in as pre-tax dollars. So you will pay the taxes on that money later on when you are in retirement. And those are my big differences, my comparison between a Roth and a traditional 401k. There's probably a few other things that are a little more granular, but in my mind, those are the big key takeaways for you on what's really the difference between a 401k when you're looking at a traditional versus a Roth. There are quite a few similarities, but again, the biggest difference being how you are making that contribution, right? So to summarize, a Roth 401k, you are making contributions after already being taxed on that money, so you can take the money out without being taxed later. In a traditional 401k, you are making contributions that are pre-tax, so you don't pay taxes up front. However, when you withdraw the money, because that is considered income, you will pay taxes on it in retirement. So thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, please give it a like. It would really help. Please also consider subscribing below and hitting the bell so you get notifications on future videos I post. And thank you so much. I will catch you on the next video.